Hey y'all, it's Megan. If you're returning to my channel, welcome back, and if you're new, welcome aboard. So we're in my car, it's raining, let's talk about Disney. I'm not doing a story time today, not really, it's more about my experience during the Disney College program. I get a question a lot of times, people say, well, what did you do when you weren't working? It wasn't the standard 8 to 5 by any means. So today I am going to talk about what I did on my days off when I was working at Disney World. So the number one thing that I did on my days off when I was not working at the parks at Disney World was I would go to the parks to play. That's pretty obvious. People who work at Disney love Disney, and there's apparently just all kinds of emergencies. Can y'all hear that? We got sirens everywhere. I'm over next to a hospital, so it's probably that. But anyway, when you work at Disney World, you play at Disney World as well. So on days off, you would go to the parks, and you have, obviously, as a cast member, you have access to the parks. You get in for free. You don't have to have like tickets and everything every day. And you don't just go to the Disney parks, you also go to other parks around the area. I never went to like Legoland or Busch Gardens or anything like that while I was working there, but I did go to Universal, bought an annual pass. The first time I walked through the gates, I walked in with an annual pass because it was definitely going to be worth it to buy that. And I definitely recommend, if you are working in Florida, get an annual pass to Universal, especially if you love roller coasters, because as much as we love Disney, they don't have as many thrill rides as Universal. We gotta give Universal those props. So yeah, you go to the parks. That's a pretty obvious one, getting it right out there, right off the bat. The majority of the time I did go to Disney parks just because it was closer, it was easier, I didn't have to get on I-4. Another thing that I did, which is probably not at all what most other people would do working at Disney World, on my days off, I would almost without fail go to an animal shelter. I looked around, found several, because I was like hardcore missing my pets. I'm a cat lady at heart, so I was missing my kitties, and I couldn't have a pet, obviously, at the Vista Way apartments working for the Disney College program, so I couldn't adopt anybody, but I could go and I could hang out with the cats at the humane societies and stuff around town. So on my days off, I would go, and I actually got some of my skipper friends involved, and one of the girls that I worked with who was a vet tech, she was like, I miss animals too. So we would go on our days off, and we'd go and hang out with the cats at the Humane Society. And just because I love kitties, I'm going to put in some of the pictures here. I want to get the number right, 927,000 pictures of me with cats while I was working there. So I'll insert some of those here. There was one in particular that I wish I could have adopted. I wanted her so badly, and I still think about her all the time. I called her Thumbs. I have no idea what her real name was, but she was Polydactyl, and she was there for several weeks. I don't know why no one came and got her, because she was the sweetest little thing, and she loved being held and cuddled, and she would just, you know, knead with all 6 of her little fingers, toes. What do we call little cat squish beans? What are those, toes? I guess they're toes. But she would, you know, just knead with all of them, and she would just curl up in your lap, and she was so sweet. And I have more pictures of her probably than anyone else. But I was really sad that I couldn't adopt her, and I hope that somewhere out there she's doing well. I would go to the shelter. So if you are also a cat lady, or, you know, I saw the dogs while I was there too, but you couldn't like go in the rooms and hang out with the dogs unless you were like a serious adopter or whatever. The cats had a room that you could just go sit and allow the cats to come and like crawl all over you, and is that not heaven? That's heaven to me. So that was what I did on my days off. I would, if I wasn't going to the parks, I was going to a shelter. And I'm sure that there's other things that I did on my days off, but the other main thing that I did was clean, and that's not glamorous at all, but it's real life. That was my first taste of like adulthood, having a space that I was in charge of. I had to do all of my own dishes, I had to do all of my own laundry, I was in charge of vacuuming and mopping and all of that jazz, because I was a freshman in college when I did the Disney College program. I had a whole 1 semester in a dorm, and I went home on the weekends, so I didn't have much experience living on my own. So the college program was really my first foray into, God help me, the millennial phrase, adulting. But that's just one of the things you have to do. You have to actually maintain your house? Well, yes, I'm gonna go work at Disney World and I'm gonna clean my house. You have to cook, you have to clean, you have to go grocery shopping. And on a side note about the grocery shopping, go to the Publix that's over by Chatham and Patterson. Like, there's one that's like right back there off of Vineland. I think it's Vineland. I always went grocery shopping at the Walmart that was down 535. And it's crowded AF. So don't go to that Walmart. That's where every tourist in the world goes, and it's very crowded. But Publix is much more local traffic. It's calmer and quieter, and you'll be able to find stuff easier. But anyway, so those are the 3 main things that I did on my days off. I also slept. As a college program participant, CPer, whatever, you work at night most of the time, so like real late shifts. And so, you know, I'm sleeping. That was honestly part of like my first day of my weekend every week, was I would just sleep pretty late because I was tired. That was what you did. So I would probably not, you know, nights that I didn't get home until 4, I would sleep until probably 1 in the afternoon. And at that point, the day's kind of gone. So there's not much you can do besides go play in the parks or mop your floors or whatever. So this is not the most exciting thing in the world, but people have asked, so that's what I did. If you have been a college program student, let me know. What did you do on your days off? Were you more exciting than me? I was 19, so it's not like I could even go out and do stuff, adult stuff, fun things. So I literally went to the parks, I went and played with cats, and I vacuumed. So that's it. That was the very glamorous account of what I did on my days off when I was working at Disney World. I would love to know what things that you have done if you have worked at Disney World. What are some things that you do on your days off? And if you have a job that your weekend like falls during the week, do you find that better or worse than having your weekend on Saturday and Sunday like is a traditional 5-day work week? Let me know that down below as well. And I will see you guys in my next video. Bye, y'all.